Jeena Bloom, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to have you here. It's been a long time in coming. You're in the LA comedy scene now recently.
Recently, yes.
And obviously, we're not able to do too much in the LA comedy scene right now.
No, not at all.
But when I saw you perform, I was pretty blown away by it because you really you talk about being a transgender lady, and you're able to make it so funny.
Well, thank you.
And like take this sometimes taboo subject and just like make it so comfortable for the audience to listen to.
Yeah, that's what I try. I there's kind of like two schools of thought for queer comics and trans comics specifically. There's the for us and there's the for them school, and I'm definitely in the for them school.
Yeah.
I like to translate for like a cisgender audience more so than just keeping it in the community.
Which I appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more fun that way to me, I think. It's just where I find the humor.
Yeah. So have you had any like wild experiences while doing these types of sets?
Oh yeah, yeah. Gosh, I did. I was I was the feature. I did a tour of Western and Central Pennsylvania last year. And if you know Western and Central Pennsylvania, it's not exactly the wokest place in the country.
I can't say I've ever been actually. So
Yeah, it's like outside Scranton in the little towns. And I was a feature for a Republican like libertarian comic, and I don't know what this booker was thinking, pairing the two of us together.
Wow.
And I half the shows were good, half the shows were a little scary. I ended up playing this bar that had a Confederate flag, a Confederate battle
Oh my
flag,
God.
oh my God.
which I roasted them for that because they're in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
which was part of the Union, guys. Like,
Yeah, what the hell?
don't know what you're thinking. And they were great. They were great. I basically talked about their weird ladies' room for like 20 minutes, and they were all into it. Because it was this weird thing where they had like two toilets sitting next to each other with no partition. I was like, what on earth are you doing?
Oh,
So
that is very bizarre.
yeah, that was really strange architecture on their part. So that was great. And then I followed up the next night at this like Christian steakhouse, and boy, they didn't like me at all.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
They just yeah,
Would they
were not
boo
happy
you
with
or
me.
would they just not laugh?
They were staring with.
Oh, it's
The
way
worst.
worse than a
Yeah.
boo.
Yeah, it's way worse than a boo. I've had heckling, that's fine, but when they stare silently with like the look of "how dare you" in their eyes, like
Jesus.
So how did you get booked on these things? I don't get it.
I just know some people, and like I had done for this booker, I had done some shows in upstate New York. Still conservative, but not quite as conservative as Central Pennsylvania. And like it worked out. I won the crowd over. Like Cameron
Oh,
said,
wow.
I do a lot to make it fun for an audience that may not be initiated with the things that are going on in my world. It's a pretty mainstream friendly act. Like I basically tell jokes that are not all that dissimilar from like any female comic. I just I throw in a little extra layer there. But
So for our audience who might not be familiar with your
well,
story and
yeah.
will you help them become more familiarized and tell us a little
Yeah.
about how we got here?
Yeah. So I had moved. I've been in New York for a while, doing comedy, and I had moved to LA about a year ago because I started to get attention from like the entertainment industry, and I wanted to be close to that. Joke's on me. There doesn't matter where you are now, but whatever.
Well,
It was
you're
a good
ready
idea.
when it ends.
Yes, it was a good idea at the time. And I'd established like a little niche in the New York scene, and then in like the New York based podcast, I'd done very similar shows to y'all's over there, and I kind of did like the circuit. And then I moved to LA, and I ended up meeting a mutual friend, Polly, And I was like, wow, this is awesome. This LA scene's great. And he's like, you should do this show. You just do a show with my friends. And
This is
and then I reached out, and we've been missing each other. You guys are, we're friends of friends. Like you've had Ginny Hogan on a couple of times, who I know from New York. And
oh yeah.
I actually, before she moved here, I was her connect for legal weed. So, hey, we're all just we're all just
Interconnected
friends
there.
here.
So
Weed connection.
when
Yes.
you were in New York, you said you started doing stand up right after you transitioned?
Right after I transitioned. Yes.
So where were you born?
I was born in Tacoma, Washington, and my family moved around a lot. My dad was something of an inept con artist, so we were constantly
What?
yeah, he was very bad at it.
That is
So
hilarious.
it is hilarious.
What's an example of a bad con that went awry?
Oh my God, he had so many, and they're not like funny. It's not like like on TV. He would just do things that just blew up in his face. He would he would try to sell the same thing twice, or he tried to be a slumlord for a while in the town where I grew up. Mostly, we ended up moving around quite a bit through Indiana. Spent a year in the Philippines, where my mom was from. Ended up doing most of my growing up when we settled down in Central Florida, and he tried to be a slumlord there for a while. He was
Oh my God.
reconverting old houses for like apartments, and yeah, he was just not good at it. He tried a lot of like Trumpian things where he would try to screw people out of their bills, like
Oh
the
no.
subcontractors. And
And your mom, what did she do? She just went along with this, or
my mom was a devout Catholic Filipino woman. She married him. She was going to stand by him no matter how.
stand by your
Wow.
man?
Absolutely. She's a hardworking lady. She often worked 2 jobs. She was the stable one. She worked at Disney World for 20 years.
Cool.
As a someone in the custodial staff. And yeah, that was great. Mom was definitely the steady one. So much so that we didn't even realize until she got cancer a few years ago and passed away. That
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's been a little while, but the funny part was, and this is kind of darkly funny. I don't know how funny it actually is, but
We like dark funny.
well, this is very dark funny. She was always a little strange. She would pick up ghosts in her car and talk to Jesus personally. And she got diagnosed, stage 3 cancer, and they're like, she's probably not going to make it. And like, oh, and by the way, she's also apparently schizophrenic. And we were like, oh, that makes sense. We just thought she was Filipino. And
No, but I do think the Filipino culture, because I know a few that they do believe in ghosts. Some
yeah,
of them.
they absolutely do.
It's not that.
It's not that far-fetched.
Yeah, and they're not all paranoid schizophrenic, but that is a
No.
hilarious thing to discover on your deathbed.
Yeah,
But I don't. But that doesn't sound like she really was. It's just that.
No, she absolutely was. They put her on.
Oh, she was.
they put her on antipsychotics, and she cleared right up. But
No
Oh,
way. No way.
But to our credit, Dad was a racist Southerner, so hey, we got it from somewhere. But also to our credit, schizophrenia in other cultures, not in the U.S. culture, it does kind of manifest that way, like in the Philippines and in like countries that kind of like Karen Lee had said, where they have that's sort of in the culture anyway. That's the kind of stuff that they hallucinate. Like American schizophrenics hallucinate things that are in the American culture, and it tends to be more paranoid. Because
oh wow.
Yeah, because my mom has got advanced Parkinson's and has a caretaker who's from the Philippines, and she has, she gets a little freaked out. When my father passed away, she got a little freaked out and thought she saw, ghosts when she was sleeping, and
yeah,
she's that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure, it's your mom being schizophrenic as much as she really saw the ghosts.
yeah.
I mean, so these are 2 very interesting characters to grow up with.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah.
sound like you got
I,
Sneaky Pete's. Speaking, I know you're into pop culture, and I just finished
Yeah.
the third season of Sneaky Pete's, who was a con artist. The whole family's it's a constant con in that show,
Yeah.
and it sounds like your dad would have fit in perfectly.
He would have been unsneaky Pete. Or
Unsneaky Pete, yeah, exactly.
not
The
not
unsneak.
terribly sneaky Pete. Yeah, he wasn't sneaky at all.
so how did, first of all, were you able to even discuss sex with them?
No, not really. And like it wasn't like I kind of knew from early on, like when I was 11 or 12, that there was something up with the way that I viewed myself and the way that I viewed, you know, the world. And like I didn't, at that time I was living in a small town in Indiana. There wasn't a lot of information out there. This is before you could just like look up everything on the internet. Um, so I didn't really have a word for it, but I knew something was up. And
How
you
did you
spend
know?
oh, you just know, like you just feel it. It's like you feel different. um and like it's even a little hard to explain at first. It's just sort of like a quality that that you just sort of inherently know. And like you see the like the boys like in the locker room, you're like, well, that's incorrect. And I never felt
Something
That's
here is not
incorrect.
aligning.
this didn't work out. But on the other hand, I never felt that profound like wrongness. Like it's as I'm as trans as they come, but like I
But
never felt like I was going to kill myself or I couldn't go on living if I didn't transition. Like I had I had sort of like convinced myself that because I didn't feel that way, that I didn't have to do it, that I
oh
could just be
wow.
kind of like low key miserable. And you know
No, I like the way you're putting it, though. It's interesting because, like, we've interviewed Buck Angel,
yeah,
and he had
absolutely.
the need that was so strong.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's right, and that's his experience, and that's a common experience for a lot of trans people I know feel that way. And they should, and I shouldn't have waited either, to be honest. But because I was able to manage, and I think that a little bit of that is having grown up in a somewhat chaotic household.
Right. I was
Um,
just thinking, I mean, how do you have time for yourself when you're dealing with
yeah,
unsneaky Pete and your
right.
mom who's seeing ghosts? I mean, it's tough.
Exactly. It was hard. It was hard to get stage time in that family.
You have siblings too?
Oh yeah, yeah. We were five siblings.
Whoa.
What?
Big Catholic family. It was hard to get. It was hard to get. Yeah, it's hard to get stage time there. There was
Where did you fit in there?
I was the smart one.
No,
I
I
was
mean, what number?
number three, right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Oh man.
Like me.
I was the favorite of both of them, which carried with it its own like
Wait.
its own weight. Sure, exactly. I couldn't disappoint them
Right.
Right. By saying
because
that so you never always say something doesn't feel right. I think I'm
yeah,
not feeling good in my skin because you're obviously the favorite. So you have to pretend to be the perfect one.
exactly. And I had because I was the responsible smart one, I had sort of like early on I had to like take on some of the burden of the family too. So because mom and dad were not 100% capable of running a house by themselves. So I,
Did
I took on a lot of that.
did any of your siblings have similar thoughts or experiences?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's a good question, Cam.
yeah. We are. My little brother and I are New York famous. We're New York famous for like 10 seconds because we both transitioned at the same time.
No
Oh,
way.
Yeah, he was born he was born with lady anatomy, and I was born not. And like
and you wanted to switch.
and we wanted to switch, yeah. And so it came out in New York Magazine. They did a profile on us. They hired a professional photographer, and that's how I came out to my family. My
Wow.
parents had already passed away.
Oh.
um,
Oh, your dad has passed as well?
yes, my dad passed years ago. He's back in 2005. It's been quite a while for him. um, but my mother had passed in 2013, and I came out in 15. So
You have seen some shit.
Yeah.
I have
How old are you now?
I am older than most people think.
Totally. I mean, because I'm looking at you via Zoom, and you're like, first of all, beautiful. I was like,
Thank
whoa, she
you.
is stunning. And second of all, I mean, you don't look like you have any age at all. You're just like, I couldn't put a number on it.
Well, there's definitely a de-aging benefit to synthetic hormones. They
Oh, really?
Oh,
absolutely, yeah, they will take the years off, and then being Filipino on top of that,
you're like Benjamin Button over here.
I'm Benjamin Buttoning.
I
Yeah,
think so. It's a good one.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm aging backwards here. I'm all for it.
I mean, so how do you think going through all these experiences has affected like your outlook on life or your personality?
Oh, I think that I've grown so much in the past 4 years since I came out. Um, I'm upset with myself for not letting my mother know this person. My dad would never have got it. I think that my mother, especially if we had got her on the antipsychotics early, she would have eventually come around. But since that time, since I transitioned, I have gotten a lot healthier, mentally and otherwise. I've gotten a lot more outgoing. Like I never would have done stand up
Hmm.
before I did this. And it wasn't just because I had a lot to talk about all of a sudden. It's just also because I feel comfortable and I'm outgoing, and I've never was what anyone would consider extroverted. Like people are like, oh, you're so quiet. You never have anything to say. And now it's like, and now I'm up there being as loud and as stupid as I possibly can.
Oh yeah.
As much as I can.
Basically, you sound like me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
'Cause I was very shy growing up too.
Right.
Very
We
introverted.
found our true selves later on, and now
And
you can't.
how?
Yeah, absolutely. Now we can't shut up. So
Yeah, but just so you know, your mother, of course, is here with us, and she knows what's going on.
oh,
So
she
I,
absolutely does.
especially
Yes.
with her psychic powers, I believe she had them when she was on this earth. So she
Yes,
knows what's going
yes.
on. She knew what was going on.
She knew. She did actually. She confronted me a couple of times.
Oh no
Uh,
way.
I wasn't ready to have that conversation with her, but she definitely knew something was up. Yeah.
What would the confrontation look like?
They were really, I mean, she had a way about her. She was, when she knew something wasn't something that she necessarily wanted to hear, like she knew something was up, but she didn't want confirmation. She just wanted you to like lie to her. She'd come to you in a certain way that was like, I know something's up, but just tell me what I want to hear so I don't have to worry. And like
Oh my
we
God.
we
All
had
right.
this kind of unspoken
I'm
transaction.
I am like the complete opposite. I know something's up. Tell me right now. I can accept it, but I want to know what it is, and I will
Yeah.
not let you go to sleep until you tell me.
No, because she was so worried about, going to hell and being, a very
Ah,
fundamentalist Catholic in like, the Philippine Catholic Church is even more fundamentalist than, what you might find in America. And they they were the devil's real with them. And he
yeah.
lives in a house somewhere, and like if you fall into his clutches, and you're just screwed forever. And she worried about that viscerally, so she wanted me to convince her that what she saw wasn't real, and
Oh
then
wow.
later on I would figure things out for myself, is what
Oh
she was
damn.
hoping. Yeah.
So I want to know how this affects your sex life because on stage you have some hilarious premises around
Yeah.
this.
Here's the crazy thing. I was a virgin until 2012. Um, that was my only real relationship, my one and only shot at being a straight person. And that didn't work out. So it was like one real sexual experience. I had like others stuff that kind of happened, kind of didn't. I've hooked up with men plenty of times, but I don't know what your definition of virginity is. I guess I'm not. But as far as like penetrative man lady me on top sex, none of that happened until 2012. And now, in the past 4 years, I've had more sex with a lot of great people and a lot of not so great people of every type. And it's really opened a lot of doors. Like, dude, like I have,
Oh, a lot of doors, so to speak.
so to speak, a lot of bedroom doors have been opened. And like, especially for the first 2 or 3 years, I was like, you could not stop me. I was just hooking up with everybody.
Oh, it
And
sounds fun.
it
Well,
was
so
fun.
wait a
It
second. When
is
you
fun.
hooking up with men and women, or just
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, there you
Sure.
go.
Yeah. Sometimes in the same room, sometimes, whatever.
Oh, damn.
I've dated men, women, couples. I had
So you kept your penis, I'm assuming.
yes, I did. Still
Okay.
there, still
Because
working.
we interviewed Jessie Dubai. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know her.
I do not.
Okay, so she's similar in the sense that she was born a male, kept her penis, but now identifies with a woman as a
Mhm.
woman, and she's a porn star as well, and not as well, but a porn star. I don't know if you're a porn star.
I am not. No.
You're not a porn star. Okay,
I'm
well,
not a
she
porn
is. She
star.
is. Anyway, she loves to use her dick. I mean, she's like, why would I, not use?
Yeah, it's great. It's I
Do you?
this.
Do you, yeah,
You
go
go
on.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say that this stuff down here isn't really the center of it. Like I don't. It would probably be more convenient if I had the other stuff going on. It would certainly make things more simple. To like, wouldn't have to have a lot of conversations ahead of time. And I'd feel safer. But like as far as my physical enjoyment, I'm having a lot of fun doing what I'm doing. And I don't have any real desire to change that. I've altered my body a lot. I have boobs. I've had my fat rearranged. I'm gonna have my face fixed up a little bit so that.
No, your face is beautiful.
Well, thank you. So is yours, and so is
Thank you.
Cameron's.
Yeah,
But
thank
like,
you.
but
Cam, your face is beautiful too.
What
but
are you
like
planning
I
to change?
I have a hairline, as you can see when I pulled the bangs up. You see it's really high.
Mhm.
So that's that's my dad's hairline. So I'm just gonna have hair from here put in here so I can have a lower hairline and like a little work like above the eyes. You can't see them because I'm not facing this direction, but you can still the ridge on my eyes right here is a little too pronounced, so that basically when this gets planed down a little bit, my eyebrows will pop a little more femininely, and then that's about it.
Do you think that the reason you want those types of surgeries are different than the reasons why, like, say my mom would want a
I knew you were
like
going to put me in that category. Mine
like
is all defying gravity. Okay. Mine is like, don't let those things pull everything down. Yours is more of like, I'm trying to look more feminine.
Yeah. I think that there's a discrete difference, but I also think that we're kind of doing it for the same reason because we want to feel better.
Because we're basically vain.
We're basically
All right,
vain.
I said it.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
vain.
I mean, yeah. Is it vanity, or is it like you still feel like if I looked a little more like this, it would be a good representation of my insides?
Both. Because I'm not unaware that I operate freely in society as a woman. Like no problems. I know that some trans women don't have the luxury of having a Filipino mom with Filipino bone structure, and like this is all natural. None of this has been changed. So like I get that. I got lucky in a sense. So I think that for a lot of trans women, it's an existential question. I don't really need it. In like I don't feel like I'm gonna die without it. So I think I am more like a cis woman that gets a procedure done. I do it because it makes me feel better. I'm actually, my doctor's appointment that I have today is actually a revision for my lipo. I had my fat transferred, which was more of an existential thing, but they left a little fat behind, so I'm having that little extra sucked out. It's like that is as white lady as you come. Like my lipo wasn't good enough. So I'm gonna have extra lipo done. So
Did you feel after you transitioned, was it a significant difference in how people treated you?
Oh yeah.
How would you describe that?
When I was living as a guy, and some of this, most of it is because of the difference in my personality that has come from it. But I was pretty much invisible. Um, I was, I was unremarkable. I carried myself in a way that I wanted people to not really notice me. And like my plan was just to be a writer and sort of do things from my room and, make my living that way. And I
So you
also
were
worked in,
basically a hiding.
yeah, I was hiding. And
Mm.
even when I was like in, public, I would still like hide. And I transitioned and I went through this little awkward phase for about 6 months where I was trying to figure myself out. And then I got my confidence and like the
And then
world
all hell broke loose.
and all hell broke loose. And yes, there's a lot of stuff that women go through that's gross. I've been catcalled, I've been followed, I've been threatened. I've had a guy on the New York City subway wave his dick at me.
I saw a guy whacking off in front of the ATM machine.
Yeah. That's the kind of
Well-
shit I never saw before. But yeah, that's the shit I deal with. But on the other hand, I also get so much friendlier treatment from people at stores.
Whoa.
They're just nicer to me. I think that
Isn't that wild?
it is wild. It's such a weird experience having been through
Both.
both sides of that.
Yeah.
I can see some men's point about the way that they're grousing about the way they get treated by other people, because it is true. You are kind of shit on as a man in a sense, but like also you still have all the power and money in the world. So like, who cares? But like, but I can see the point to a point.
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause,
that's a wild perspective to have.
Yeah.
Is it, this is a weird thing, but I have a friend from high school.
Mhm.
So, he's older now, as I am. And he was the first person I know that openly said, I'm very sexually attracted to trans women.
Yeah.
Specifically Filipino trans women.
Oh, wow.
Oh
That-
shit, we might have a
yeah.
suitor for you.
I think I have a guy for you if you like older men.
I do. I do, in fact. I'm a big fan.
Is that a thing though? More so for Filipino, or is that just a complete coincidence?
No, I think it's Filipino, Thai, Asian. The bodies there they tend to be a little smaller and softer. Just from whatever demographic thing. So when like a 5'9" Filipino skinny boy like me with good bone structure transitions to a woman, the physics is pretty. I mean, I basically just slot right over because I already had a very feminine body to begin with. Whereas like a Nordic person might have a stockier frame. I don't know, but there's definitely a lot of fetishization of Asian women in general, and then Asian trans women because we sort of physiologically fit a more feminine bill,
More petite.
Yeah. I think that's part of it. And I am not this way, my mother was not this way, but Asian women have a reputation for being kind of submissive and easy to manipulate. Even though my mom stood by her man like a good Catholic, she was not someone you could bullshit. She was not someone you could roll over. She gave as good as she got. And I'm the same way. So I don't know. I don't want to put things into your friend's mouth that he hasn't said. Like I don't want to say
I was going to
likes
say I should
Asian
probably just
women.
ask him. I don't, but for some reason, every so often, and this has been going on for years, way before I even knew the word transgender. He was telling me that was who he's attracted to, and
Now,
he
hey,
wasn't shy about sending me pictures and everything. But they always seem to be the same type.
well,
He has a type.
he has a type. We all have a type. I have a type. Everyone has types. I have.
Cam, do you have a
few
type?
Types.
They probably have a type. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few types. It depends on what I'm looking for, but yeah. No shame in that. Hey, he has a type.
All right, what's your type?
When it comes to men, I do like an older guy with
Well,
a
there you
little
go.
bit of authority.
I'm going to make what's called in the Jewish religion a shidduch.
Yes, please do that.
I'm making a shidduch with
Make
you
a,
and my friend. Okay,
make a shidduch, please.
a
That would love
shidduch.
that. I would love that. Uh, with women, it tends to be, it tends to be, like petite, not necessarily petite, but like blonde women that are smaller than I am. I have, I have an affinity toward. Although I dated for a year and a half, I dated a soft butch lesbian, and she loves it when I talk about her, even though we're not dating anymore.
Wait, hold on. A soft
Soft
butch
butch.
lesbian.
So it's
Soft butch and
so
not a
yes,
hardcore butch.
not a hardcore
Okay.
butch. So she was soft. She's still feminine. She looked kind of like an emo boy. She wore eyeliner and had like sweater vests and things like that.
Sweater.
And yeah, and like I never thought I'd be attracted to a person like that, but we got along really well for a while, and we had great sex. And I know you're gonna listen to this, Scout. You're still, the best fuck I ever had. So there.
Oh,
Wait,
damn.
Scout. What made Scout so good in bed?
She just knows what she's doing. She's solid. She's got solid technique. She's
But it's harder to know what you're doing. Well, I guess it's yeah. See, I'm thinking to myself, well, she knows what she's doing in terms of pleasing a woman or in terms
yeah.
of pleasing a man.
No, she knows how to please a woman, and my body likes that. Like, I didn't understand sex, prior to transitioning because people approached me in the wrong way, and she'd never encountered a body like mine before, but like it took her no time at all to figure it all out, and like we got along great sexually, and she's a wizard with the strap on, and I say that fully knowing that she loves it when I talk about this. So I'm definitely playing to the crowd a bit here. So
Ah.
she finds it very flattering when I compliment her strap-on skills. So.
I mean, it sounds like that sex is so much more interesting than the sex that like like someone that like me would have. Like, first of all,
What makes you say that, Cam?
strap like it's not even
Pegging?
just your penis going into her. Maybe
Yeah.
she's wearing a strap on going into you,
Mhm.
presumably.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
called pegging, Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, pegging. If I were still as a dude, we just called it fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many more like variations and different combos, if you will.
Yeah, and like the thing is that after having had sex with feminine women that want me in a certain way, and they still approach me as a woman, but like they approach me more like the way I would with Scout. Like when I was with her, I still treated her as a woman, but like she was definitely in the position of power physically. So I've been with feminine women that like me and to be in that position. I've been with I've been with quite a few lesbian butch women. They fucking love me, and I've been with a lot of men. There's a whole lot of men. It's just a ton of them at this point.
I know.
And
Keep going.
and like people are like, "Oh, are you bi? Are you pan? Who cares? That's
Really?
that's all I gotta say about this. It's like who cares? I like who I like. If we have sex, we have sex, and like I actually, obviously in quarantine I haven't done anything. But even before that, like maybe 3 months since before the start of quarantine, I just kind of like lost interest in it for a while, which happens to me.
It happens to everybody.
Happens to everybody. You just you prioritize other things.
So, question for you.
Sure.
All right. So I actually asked my friend who I was referring to before about the same question because he and I would. Now this is back 20 years ago or whatever,
Okay.
and we had these discussions. And I would say, honestly, I'm thinking when do you have that talk and say, by the way, you're with a guy, maybe he's hetero,
Mm-hmm.
straight guy, and he's attracted to you in a bar or whatever. When do you tell him that you have a dick?
I don't pick up guys in bars unless
All right,
they.
let's just hypothetically speaking, you're in a
Yeah.
Starbucks.
As soon as it's comfortable too. I try to have that conversation as quickly as possible. And like, there's definitely, I shouldn't have to. Like, I'm a woman. I'm a woman. Um, I know I live in a world that isn't necessarily as woke as I want it to be. So for my own preservation, my own safety, I'm like, hey, I am trans, right? And sometimes they'll be like, oh, really? Well, bye. And
Yeah,
then that'll be the
yeah.
last I see of them. And sometimes they're like, I don't care. And sometimes they're like, yes, I know. That's why I'm talking to you.
Mm.
And
Wow. Oh, wow.
so if the guy is, if he's like, if he's like, peace out, that's fine. Um, I, This is the fucking line out the door.
Because
line-
that was the discussion we used to have, because I would say to him, and this is again when people were far or less, as you say, woke, far or less woke, obviously, because no one even heard of such a thing, or
Yeah.
if they did, it was in a movie. Like, I think I heard about it first in Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah.
But he and I would have this big argument all the time, because he would say, like, if I'm like making out with someone and I find, or whatever, he was saying that if this was a situation and someone knew, if thought you were thought you were one thing and then they found a penis, they get very angry.
Oh yeah.
He'd say
Yeah.
that they'd still have sex anyway, and I'd say no, I think they would walk away, because that's because I think the society has ingrained in straight cis men that this would be a no or something that they would be maybe not up for, or whatever, because it's mostly society, as you were saying, who gives a shit. But this is how society has changed over the last 20 years. He was saying the only reason that they'd say they would leave is because they're trying to hit on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent.
I
You know what I'm talking about, or no?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a different time now. But it's not that different.
That's what I was
like-
wondering. How different is it? Are people still like having their biases one way or the other?
Yeah, absolutely. Even in LA, I still don't feel completely comfortable with just like letting a guy figure it out for himself.
Because you can get beat up or whatever.
Yeah,
Someone gets
absolutely.
angry. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like, sex to me is not that important that I'm gonna like put myself in danger over it. And certainly not one man. There's not one man out there that I'd be like, oh, I have to fuck this guy no matter what. Like,
Let me convince him.
yeah, there's plenty more where he came from. Not worry about it. Like, that's, if he doesn't want to fuck, fine.
I think everybody should have that attitude, though.
I think so. Yeah.
Didn't have to convince anybody of anything.
No, not a bit. No.
So is the ideal world that you're looking for, the woke world you're looking for, one in which, like, you connect with someone, it doesn't matter what genitals that
It
they
doesn't
have.
matter. It doesn't matter. That's a good question. I think that from my own personal experience, I think that I'd like to be able just to tell someone what I have going on without any worry that it's going to go badly. Just, oh, by the way, here's what you're going to find. And they're like, cool, thanks for letting me know. And I don't have to worry about getting embarrassed. I don't have to worry about being put into danger or anything like that. I think that, at some point, that's a more plausible future than eventually people will just fuck because, I don't begrudge anybody their personal taste in stuff. I don't tell people they need to eat tacos if they don't like tacos. I don't tell people they need to be into dicks if they don't want to be into dicks. It's fine.
Okay, but who doesn't like tacos?
Yes, I
Who
was
doesn't
gonna
like
say. Yeah.
I know some fucking people that don't like tacos, so it makes no sense to me at all. But
I think it is hard because the stigma is still so ingrained.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think see generations below us that are like so much more advanced in this direction, like not even close to what I experienced growing up,
And obviously add another 20 years onto mine.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in maybe even another 20 years, it's going to be such a different, it might be the world that you're imagining.
Or it might be
It might
just
be.
all same sex together. Just like guys will be only with guys and girls will only be with girls.
Who knows?
Who
Well,
knows?
your joke about comparing gay dick to straight dick,
Yeah.
because basically for our listeners, the premise is, before you transitioned, you would say like you were fucking essentially
Mhm.
men who were attracted to other uh, um, male
Men.
identifying
Yeah.
men. Yeah.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so, do you consider yourself before this a woman or only after transition?
Oh, before. From the moment from the moment I was aware of something going on, all the way to when I was 11 years old, like I absolutely, that was the beginning of it. And like, just because I physically changed my appearance doesn't change, who I was before. I just wasn't able to be honest with myself enough to live it.
Right.
But people operate under delusions and operate under like false selves all the time. It doesn't make them not fundamentally who they are. So yeah, I like I said, I never had sex with a woman until a few years ago. But with men, it's a whole lot easier.
So essentially, even though you were identifying as a
Mhm.
woman, or maybe not even outwardly or inwardly identifying as a woman,
Yeah.
you were a woman, but men who you were fucking were attracted to men appearing as men.
Yeah, sometimes. And I would also fuck straight guys that were into like cross dressers and things like
Oh, I
that.
see.
I did that as well. But I never liked that experience because they were too fetishy for me.
Oh, I see.
And so when I would hook up with gay men, I would get, they kind of transactionally understood that I was on the feminine side. So they would still treat me in a womanly way. So I would get like the emotional connection that I was looking for that like tranny chasers weren't giving me.
So my friend that's a tranny chaser, he would say to me, "I'm not gay." So he wasn't gay.
He's not gay.
He's
He's
a tranny
just
chaser.
I mean, maybe he's not a tranny chaser. Maybe he's just physically
He's a
attracted to
no.
trans women.
He's
But
a tranny chaser, and he would openly admit that.
oh well, as long as he's nice about it. Like since my since I transitioned, I have been with a few like self-described tranny chasers, and some have been very nice, and some have met my emotional needs for a time. So just being a quote unquote chaser doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. It just means that the ones that I hooked up with at that time before I transitioned just weren't for me.
And
When you were growing up, did you like sneak into your sister's rooms and want to wear their clothes or anything?
Yeah, I
like
did a little of that. Not proud of it, but you got to do what you got to do to figure yourselves out. It you know it, it didn't hurt that I was my sister's size growing up, so that definitely helped.
Did they say anything to you, like your siblings ever say, "Get out of my bra drawer"?
No, I was pretty careful, and like I'm sure that someone suspected something, but I was never caught. So
It's so sad though that you actually had to, go through this when you were a
yeah,
kid. That you couldn't just wear what you want to wear.
yeah, and like that has changed somewhat. I think that you see kids.
Yeah, I see
Especially,
Cam, who's walking around half the time wearing women's clothing,
well, there you go.
and then it's always outlandish too.
Yeah, or you see even younger kids, like the kids on like TikTok and things like that, where the gender is sort of blurred, and that's not necessarily universal. Like there's still plenty of places that are well, intolerant and not accepting. I think the last 4 years of our political sphere have given us like a real window in just how far we've not come.
I don't know, because Donald Trump has made it so that self-tanning is a thing now for all genders.
Yeah. Just
At one point, when I was growing up, people would do that and say, "Oh, if you're self-tanning, that means you must be gay."
yeah.
Now Donald Trump is doing it, so
Well,
guess we got rid of that stigma.
he got rid of the self tanner, but he does it in a straight way because he's bad at it.
Wait, so can you tell me, just to go back to this, why
Yeah.
you think gay dick is so much better than straight dick?
Oh God, I mean it's right there in the joke. Gay guys are cleaner in in general. And they're more
Totally.
attentive. Um, and there's there is a certain level of expertise. Obviously, a man understands the mechanics of the body, but like dicks aren't complicated. They're really not. They're very simple. There's not a lot of moving parts in a dick, so it doesn't take that much mastery.
So are you talking about manscaping?
No, well, yeah,
Is this time
manscaping.
for an ad, by the way, Cam?
Oh, we passed that time, but we probably have talked about Manscaped to this point. Code
Yeah, we
mom
should talk
talk
about-
for 20% off.
Mom talk. No, actually, again, this is back in the day when I first even, I mean, nobody would groom, man or woman would groom
Yeah.
back, when I was growing up. But then we're talking, I don't know where I was at, probably South Beach. I'm talking to a bunch of gay guys back, I don't know how long ago this was. And they started telling me how they groom. And I'm like, men groom? I was like shocked.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it started in the gay community. And then
Absolutely.
finally, there was some wokeness going on with the heterosexual males.
Yeah.
It got them to groom.
It's not
Which I
universal.
thank you for. I think all gay guys for.
Thank all of the queer community for teaching men how to take care of their dicks.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I mean, I've been with plenty of fucking gross ass gay men.
Oh, really?
Plenty of fucking disgusting gay men. It's not universal, and I've been, I've had a couple of well trimmed, nice apartment, appointed straight men that are they just get it. But in general, jokes are cliches. I'm not talking universally. Not all straight men are disgusting, but most of them are. More straight men are disgusting compared to gay men. And it's reflected in their dicks. Their dicks are like, it's like a straight man for his dick is his most valuable thing, but it's also the thing he cares for the least.
Wow, that is wild.
It's strange, yeah, but true.
Well, Cam, what do you agree with this?
That might. Yeah, I mean, I don't take too much care of my penis. And it is pretty.
You
important to
complain when
me,
there's when there's problems. You complain.
That is true. That is
But
true.
for the most part,
with my whole body, I think I complain. So it's not that dissimilar. But I think this. I wonder also about the dynamic of the sex before and after its transition. But it sounds like you're having all sorts of different, styles and status plays and stuff like this. So, but I do wonder if, oh man, I could just imagine it's such a different experience given like the people that you attract have to be of a slightly different mindset,
Yeah, that's very true. Sometimes I get men that are like Karen Lee's friend that specifically seek me out, and some of them are great. I've had a lot of good experiences with a lot of men that are looking for trans women in particular. It's definitely more convenient when that happens. And
why would it be more convenient? Because they appreciate all the nuances.
Because they appreciate all the nuances. They've had experience. I don't have to tell them what to do. I've been with cis women I've been with one cis woman that attempted to. She was great. We had a great make-out session. We had great foreplay, but then she attempted to basically do to my dick what you would do to a clitoris, and I mean, I appreciate the effort. I really do. Visually, it was kind of cool, but the wiring isn't there. Just treat it like a dick. It's fine.
So was she too soft? I mean, what's
she tried to flick it. She tried to give it cunnilingus, and it was like, I appreciate your efforts, sweetheart, but that's not. Very well that's not how that works. You've had plenty of dicks in your mouth. Very well that's not how that thing works.
That is fucking hilarious. That is so funny.
That. We need some lessons then, I guess. Yeah, I would not know what to do. I guess if
It's
that
just treat it like a dick.
It's a dick.
It's a dick. It's a dick. It's suck it. It's fine. It works the same way. It's the same physical fucking thing. It works.
You're not gonna fucking eat out a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Cam
Damn!
gets it. Cam totally gets. You're not gonna eat out a dick. No,
Yeah.
it's not how those
Alright.
things
I
work.
just
You suck
wasn't
a dick.
exact.
You eat a pussy. That's it.
That's exactly.
No,
It's
thank
not
you for
rocket
thank you for
science.
clarifying, Cam.
Yes,
Thank you for that.
precisely.
Can we?
Glad we got to the bottom of that.
I think we should get some more of these experiences aired. Could we play a little Mom Don't Ask That?
Oh yeah.
So this is a game that we play on the show.
Okay.
It's called Mom Don't Ask That. She asks all the questions a mother typically wouldn't ask her
Oh.
children.
As you can see, I have a top hat here filled with questions.
Let's do it.
I'm assuming that your mom would not want to play this game with us.
No, if she were alive, she wouldn't.
If she was alive, she would not want to play Mom Don't Ask
Absolutely
That.
not.
All right. This is going to be a good one, I can tell. What is the number one thing that turns you on?
Oh, yeah. The number one thing that turns me on is being a little bit rough with me. Just like giving me a little shove. Yeah, that gets it going.
A little shove. So
A
you like
little
a little
shove.
BDSM
Just a little
is what you're
nudge.
saying.
A little nudge, a little like a little bend over. My very first hookup as a woman was with this lovely French Canadian Jewish boy that I think may have been homeless, but he basically took me into my room. We were making out. I was against my makeup table, and he spun me around and shoved my face into my mirror basically and started eating my butt. And like, wow, this is fucking dope. And
Were you concerned about the mirror, or
I was concerned about the mirror. I was thinking
getting cut
well,
or anything like that?
broken,
no,
smudged.
it wasn't like a smash. Like he just forcefully but like safely pushed me into the mirror, and it was hot because like my only view was my own face, which I'm a big fan of. So so yeah, and he knew what he wanted. He wanted that butt, and he was like, you're gonna give it to me. Yeah,
It does sound hot, I got to tell you. So you like a little BDSM is what you're saying.
I like it a little rough. Yeah, I like it a little rough. I do.
Okay.
Right on.
Right now, we'll keep going. Have you ever been cheated on?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I have cheated, unfortunately. My straight career was kind of ignominious. Since I've transitioned, no. I have neither cheated nor been cheated on.
I like that word, ignominious.
I know.
Yes.
I was there. I was pretty impressed as well. Oh, this is going to be interesting. What is your go-to genre of porn and why?
My go-to genre of porn, it's adjacent to what I've already talked about. It is rough oral.
Oh, rough oral.
Rough oral.
Well, with a little face that I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, it's like getting a little manhandled. I don't particularly like having it done to me, and I feel for the men and women that are in those positions. But like if it's a little skull fucky, turns
Skull
me on.
fuck.
Yeah,
Skull fuck.
I think that's the name of this episode, actually. Skull fuck.
How to skull fuck. And
What is it about skull?
in fantasy?
It does. I think it is. It sounds very unpleasant.
it is unpleasant. It sucks.
Oh, we got a question over here,
Yes.
Mother.
Question from Mother. What the
Yes.
hell is skull fucking?
It is exactly what you think it is. It's when the guy rams his dick in your mouth and basically fucks your
Usually, it's
skull.
when you take the skull and
Yep.
fuck it.
Force it down.
Oh, it's a little BDSM.
A little BDSM.
All right. So you like watching it, not necessarily performing it.
My dentist diagnosed me with a narrow throat recently, which explains
Otherwise,
a lot.
it would have been
No
fine.
way.
Yes, it explains a lot of my my dislike of my conflicted feelings about skullfuckery. Like
Skull fuckery.
I can't, unfortunately. I I don't have the throat capacity to get skull fucked.
Okay,
How does this
listen.
come up in a dentist
Yeah,
appointment?
I would like. That's exactly where my mind was going.
You know, I don't know. He was examining me, and he's like, you have a narrow throat, and I'm like, thank you. I've always thought that.
Thank you, and that's why I don't like skull
always
fucking.
thought that.
because like I have a problem getting big dicks down, and I feel bad because like I want them down, but like they would and like other guys would be like, oh, you're just not trying. Like, yeah, I am, bro. I really am.
I'm fucking can't breathe over here.
Yeah,
It's choking me right now.
exactly.
Wait, so do you like doing the skull fucking?
I sometimes if she's into it or if he's into it, um if I'm getting a good reaction out of the person, if they're getting turned on, then yes, I'll do pretty much anything that another person really enjoys.
Are you able to tell when you're watching porn which character you'd want to be playing in that scenario? Like
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're watching skull fucking, are you imagining yourself as the fucker or the fucky?
As the fucky, always the fucky.
So this is very sad to hear that you have such a narrow larynx.
Wait, so you are the fucky?
I mean, in as far as like porn is just there to gratify me.
I do not have that same yearning as you, by the way.
Well, that's okay.
I don't want to watch it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be at any part of it. That sounds horrible to me.
I have a friend who's
I feel like I'm
so into
gag
this.
and throw up. On the male or the female or the what?
He'd
like to be the fucker. Oh, so this could be
another
shitter.
Another shitter. All right, let's hook me up.
Oh God, we got 2 shitocks now.
Yeah,
right.
That is
so
hilarious.
He likes to skull fuck somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big skull fucker.
He's the dom.
He's the dom. He's the bull. Yeah, I'm all for that. But he has to be aware that I have a narrow throat.
Yeah,
so
I'll definitely give him the forewarning.
So having a narrow throat can make you gag and throw up.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Has that happened?
Yes.
You've thrown up on a dick?
Not on a dick, but I have thrown up as a result of a dick. I took it the other way.
What?
I turned my head.
Oh, okay.
Instead of throwing up on his dick, I threw up on the bed.
Oh,
I feel like this has got to be a common occurrence.
Absolutely.
Hey, Cam, has anybody ever vomited on your dick?
Unfortunately, no.
I just can't see that happening.
No.
What do you mean, unfortunately? You want that to happen?
Well, I also think it's a measurement of how large you actually are. If you're making someone puke with this.
Yeah, if you got so much dick that you've irrigated their lunch. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. Help.
Irrigated their lunch is hilarious.
I asked for this by asking that question. Okay, moving on. Oh no, I'm not going to ask this one. All right, yes, I am, because you're going to have a good answer. Where's the craziest place you peed or pooped?
Oh gosh. I actually don't have a really great answer for that because I don't like to pee outdoors. I'm not a big fan of that sort of thing. I'm very particular about my bathroom habits, so it's toilets or I'll just hold it.
Why don't you like peeing outdoors?
I don't know. It's probably some Freudian thing. I think it's something from my mom. She's very body shaming. I think it's probably just a thing that is like left over from that. I mean, I have peed outdoors, but like I've never had to do like a particularly outrageous thing. I've done stupid shit like pee into a bottle while driving a moving car. But that's not outrageous.
That's pretty outrageous.
I mean, that's necessity.
Yeah, necessity. Can I make a quick tangent right now?
Yeah.
So this quarantine, I've been on. Well, what's interesting about the quarantine is that you can't really go into other people's houses to pee, or go into other establishments to pee. Really.
Yeah. Sure.
But that said, when I'm out in public, and maybe I'm doing a distance walk with a friend or something, or I'm on a date. I just took a distance date recently. I had to pee. I got there and I was like, I've made a critical error. I have to pee so fucking badly. Usually when you're on a date, you just go into the fucking bathroom at the bar or the cafe or wherever you're at.
Yeah.
How do you tell the date, I'm so sorry, I have to go piss in the woods right now? Or I didn't do it. I held it the whole time. I was in like crippling pain by the end of it.
Yeah.
Cam, where were you walking through the woods with this person?
Yeah.
So then why couldn't you go into the wooded area and
What,
tell them
this
to
is
turn
our
around?
first date, and I'm gonna be
So
like,
what?
excuse me.
It's a
I
natural
need to
thing
go
to have to
pee
pee.
somewhere. You can't do that on the first
It's
date.
natural. Can you turn around? I'm going to go pee somewhere and I'll come right back. You didn't say I'm going to take a shit.
I thought I might have had a shit actually.
Oh, okay. Well, then
was-
that's an issue there. Moving right along.
Excuse me while I pee and poo before we start the date.
Yes.
Right, while I empty all my orifices. Oh, all right. So this is interesting. Your shining moment. Who were you most proud to have sex with? A famous, or someone famous, or a celebrity?
Let me see here. I have not hooked up with anybody actually famous. Trying to think.
Yeah, most people just
No.
answer by like who they're most proud to have sex with, in
Oh,
their history.
yeah. Gosh.
Scout.
I mean, she's great. She's a great lay. And she's a good friend of mine. I have to say that I was briefly New York famous after another sex positive podcast when I did an appearance on them, and a couple heard my appearance and they were groupies of mine, and we hooked up.
Holy
Ooh.
shit!
So I hooked up with two.
What, they came up
groupies.
to you after the show?
No, they heard me on the podcast, and then we connected on Field just coincidentally, and they were like, "Oh my God, were you just on Guys We Fucked?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "That was a really hot episode. We'd love to to meet you." And
Oh damn!
Hey, you might get some other people on that website. Hey, what was the name of that website? Field?
Field, yeah.
I never heard of that.
It's the threesome app.
Threesome app. Oh boy. Hey,
Yeah.
we didn't. No one came up to you after we were on Guys We Fucked. They were on our show. Did anybody come after you after that, Cam?
No one did.
No one approached you either.
I've actually been propositioned a lot of Guys We Fucked.
No
Oh
fucking
wow!
way.
It's getting you some women, men,
Yeah,
everything.
It's mostly women because it's a mostly female audience, but it's got me some men too. That couple was really hot, and I did make out with a couple of women after that episode. They sought me out.
That's pretty good.
So you seem like I guess for a couple, kind of non-threatening because you can provide services to both. I guess.
Yeah, and I am a specialty item. A lot of people have
Specialty item.
a lot of people have that curiosity, and I don't get particularly I'm not particularly upset if a couple wants to have sex for 2 or 3 times or once or whatever, and then we go our separate ways. As long as everyone's cool, I'm okay with temporary sexual relationships.
So you're okay with casual sex?
I'm okay with casual sex. I'm okay with people hooking up with me and then moving on with their lives. That's fine. I feel the same way. Oftentimes, I am looking for something permanent, and it doesn't matter what kind of body that person has. But if they were like, oh, I always wanted to hook up with a trans woman, and this one fits the bill of what I'd be attracted to, and they're cool. As long as they're cool, then it's great.
What's with there's an accusation in that statement, Mother.
I was just saying.
Jeena was talking, and suddenly you're pointing at me with the see, Cam? The fuck is it?
It's okay to have casual sex for fun.
It's okay, but it's hard to establish it in a safe, trusting way.
It is, absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you do it, Jeena?
I have. This is gonna sound like a brag, and it kind of is. I have a lot of people interested in me at any given time.
The specialty item.
Specialty
idea.
item, absolutely, yeah. So it gets a little easier when you have the numbers on your side, when you can figure out who's cool and who's not.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like in my day job, I'm something of a data scientist. So once I have a sample big enough that I can like make conclusions, then it's fine. So I operate my sex life in the same way. I don't fuck all that much. I know people who have way more sex than I do, but I have a lot of like people I'm interested in, and then they sort of like some will rise to the top and some won't, and I can compare them to each other that way.
Do you have an explicit conversation ahead of time that says like, listen, this is just a casual thing? Or is it
Yeah.
just, or
Sometimes.
other times do you just go for it and you know they know?
Yeah. I like if it's a couple, most of the time it's going to be a casual thing. I've had one quasi relationship with a couple, and it didn't last all that long. But usually it's pretty simple. This sounds terrible. I'm going to sound like such an asshole for saying this, but there was one time I had a couple and come over to my place in New York, and I liked the girl but not the guy, and I sent the guy away for beer and condoms, and then I fucked his girlfriend.
No way! No
Yeah.
fucking way!
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, I did that.
That is like the most. That is a power move right there.
Yeah, I cucked him hard.
Oh my God. So what happened at that? So he walks in, he's got the
He-
condoms. He's like,
he-
here we go. And we're like, we're done.
she basically, yeah, she basically took control and said that that she wanted to go home. I don't know if she
Wow.
talked to him or not about it. I never heard from him again, so I imagine so. But yeah, it ended weird. He got back and she's like, you know what, I think I want to go home. But like it wasn't because like we had a great time. It wasn't because like she was uncomfortable. Like she was done. I was done. And
It's a refractory period. What are you going to do?
And he had the beer, so
he had the beer, which he left with me.
That was nice.
way.
He left.
Oh my God.
He left the beer with me.
This is the most hard cucking I've ever heard.
Yeah. Was it good beer?
It was actually. It was like some fancy fucking Belgian beer. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was some.
Well, it
shit
wasn't
I've
like
never heard
that
of.
Bud Light shit.
Oh
No, it
my
wasn't.
God.
Yeah, he didn't get a 6-pack of Bud. He got some stuff he was into, some like artisanal crap, and then he left it with me. And I guess, I don't know for sure, but I guess at some point he found out that we hooked up and he wasn't there. So
He missed out.
he missed
But he
out.
funded it.
Don't feel guilty.
Yeah, maybe this is what he was into.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, could be. It could. I mean, he did volunteer to go, and
So everyone might have won in this situation.
it could be. That could totally be their thing. She could have surreptitiously recorded me, and like that could be like their what they get off on. I don't know. That I never thought of it that way. Like
he was just making her comfortable. I'll be back with some Archismo beer and some condoms. Oh, you're done already? Okay, let's go. And they went home and they had sex.
I never thought of it that way. I mean, there was clear consent. Everyone was enthusiastic. He didn't even seem all that concerned about not getting any. He was disappointed from what I could tell, but like he didn't make a big deal about it. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe there's a whole level I wasn't even aware of. Maybe I was the fetish the whole time.
Oh my God.
I think you should give him a call right now and let's find out.
Yeah.
We have to wrap up, unfortunately. But can we continue talking with you on our Patreon?
Oh,
yes.
we got to get some real good scoop on the Patreon.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
If you want more of this wonderful discussion with Jeena Bloom, check out patreon.com/sex talk with my mom. And Jeena, if they want to find your work or your podcast, will you share how they can find it?
Yeah. Everything with me is done through my Instagram and Twitter. It's the same handle. It's at Jeena Bloom, JeenaBloom. You can find links to my podcast, Shweet, the Lady's Guide to Bro Culture, and also my weekly stand-up show during quarantine, which is every Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to see me do comedy, you want to hear me talk about bro movies, just hit me up on either Insta or Twitter.
Hell yes.
Yeah, we're planning on being on there to talk about bro shit.
Yes, cannot wait.
we end with the same question, which is, have you ever walked in on a parent having sex or vice versa?
Oh yeah, never walked in on me because I didn't have sex at home. I didn't even have gay sex until I was 21, and I was at college. But yeah, a couple of times my parents, they were, yeah, and it was not good. Because I mean they had 5 kids. We all knew that they fucked, but like, no, and like I. I don't begrudge them. It didn't scar me, but it was like, yeah, I should have came home 10 minutes later. Like,
Hey, what's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
A hard worker. Okay.
Yeah.
This has become our new last question.
Yeah, the new last question. Well, you
Usually
were
that's the
supposed to
first question,
You were
actually.
supposed to ask questions and you didn't.
At this point, you should just ask the question.
No, at this point, you have to ask the question. It doesn't make sense if I ask the question.
How do you feel about talking about sex with my mom?
Oh, this was so much fun. You guys
Yeah,
are great.
woohoo!
So this is so cool. I'm so glad we finally got to do this.
Yes, thank you very much
Jeena. Thank
for
you.
coming
It was a
on.
pleasure.
Yeah,